Here we are once again. Another. All right. Here we are once again. Ahsoka, episode 5. Man, episode 4, dog. That's so fucking good, man. Um, and fucking insane how, like, I don't know, pretty sure anyone has heard all the rumors that episode 5 is going to be shown in theaters in some places. It's fucking insane, dog. I'm just like, Lord have mercy, what the hell? Um, but obviously, a lot of the discussion is around Anakin, as it should be, because they fucking left us on that fucking crazy ass cliffhanger. How dare they? You know what I mean? Um, but a lot of the interest is in Anakin right now. But we can't forget about everything else going on, right? Um, so let's go ahead and obviously, Anakin is the big discussion, but let's talk about other things going on in the show as well. Um, Specifically with Thrawn, you know, I'm very interested to see um, how his motivations are going to come into play here. Um, you know, because you know, um, there's an aspect of wanting to know how he's going to play his plan and how he's going to present himself um, when it comes to continuing on the aspects of the empire, right? Because um, although he is a very highly respected imperial kind of force to be reckoned with, I think a lot of people that know his character arc um, knows that he's ultimately playing the long con, Um, so it'll be very interesting to basically see a situation where um, Thrawn is still trying to further the Empire. And, we can even begin to see the inklings for what will become the First Order. But honestly, I don't really want to see like attachments. I'm sorry. I don't want to see attachments. I don't want to see them try to steer this towards the First Order. What I really want to see is Thrawn um, you know, slime his way up to basically taking over the empire, but there has to be some kind of through line that basically shows and solidifies the idea that this is all a facade, and what he's really trying to accomplish is create a decoy that is basically showing that the empire didn't fall, that in actuality everything is still as it was before with Palpatine, and really, this is because he wants to keep this invading force that is observing our universe. He wants to keep that force at bay. And so, if this force catches wind that the Empire has fallen, then our galaxy can be seen as possibly being open um, for invasion. Um, so, it'll be a very interesting situation where um, we get to see where does Thrawn's motivations lie with furthering the Empire as we all know it, and furthering his own interest of building power to keep this force at bay. Will he let others in on what he's trying to accomplish? Because in my heart, I feel like the overall through line with Thrawn is that he's not really a bad guy, you know. He's very ruthless, and he will be willing to do whatever it takes to, you know, accomplish a goal. But I think in actuality, who he is has been shaped out of, you know, very, very dark origins. I think Thrawn's specific origins of, possibly his childhood and where he comes from and everything that he's been through in his life is possibly something tied to this invading force that he's trying to keep at bay. And he potentially is trying to keep our universe from having the same thing that happened to possibly him when he was, younger, and maybe when he was a kid, and maybe this is something that he experienced early on in his life, and he's seen the follies and the turmoils that, the follies of his people that was not prepared for, this invading force that eventually came and consumed and took over everything that he knew. And so he had to flee, and from there he basically had to redesign and rebuild and reshape himself and become the person that we all know. And so from there, you really do kind of get kind of like this understanding that he is basically trying to prevent this evil invading entity from coming into our galaxy. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but he comes from somewhere that is not a part of the mainline Star Wars universe. It's from the unknown regions. And so the idea that he's basically trying to keep our universe from experiencing something that his world and possibly another galaxy that he comes from experience would be very interesting. And just completely changes his dynamic, and it adds more depth to his character. And so if that's the line that they play with him, that'll be really cool to see. But at the same time, this is all just that's theoretical. You know what I mean? Now that's if they go with the sentimental route of his character. You know what I mean? So it'll be very interesting. That's kind of like an anime-ish type of route. You know what I mean? Where you have this villainish character that you're just really building up to be this villain, and then all of a sudden you hit him with the flashback, and then everything that this villain has done becomes justified because, and all of a sudden you realize that he's not really a bad guy. He's just playing this long con of just like trying to basically prepare this universe for this invading like species, basically. And so when you play it in that type of light, everything that Thrawn does seems justified. But then again, it's like that's kind of fucked because then it's like, did Anakin killing the younglings, was that justified so that he could become balanced in the long run? Yes, but like at the same time, that's fucked. What the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? So it's very interesting to see what type of angle they're going to play Thrawn. You know what I mean? Is he going to be a good guy playing the long con, or is he honestly really just actually a bad guy? And if he becomes defeated, is that going to be the trigger point for this invading army? You know what I mean? To come into the galaxy and fuck shit up. And I keep hearing rumors that Mandalore is possibly going to be like the beginning focal point of this invading alien species to come in and fuck shit up. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be very interesting. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? If the fuck is her name? Bo-Katan. She finally takes over Mandalore. Finally begins to rebuild, and then that's when this fucking what is it, the Vong or some fucking shit comes in and just fucks shit up right when she fucking takes over. Some Game of Thrones shit, you know what I mean? And that's just one fucking species of alien that we know of, right? You know what I mean? That the Vong. That's just one species. What if there's like a different? What if there's different factions of species out there in the unknown regions that the Vong are fucking beefing with? You know what I mean? What if there's another fucking species of alien above them? And you know what I mean? Maybe when they try to invade and take over our shit, somehow someone fucking gets a hold of them and they try to figure out what the fuck's going on. And then you know what I mean? Maybe like a Vong fucking soldier or some shit tells them that like, they're beefing with another fucking alien race that is forcing them to basically do this because if they don't do it, then like their fucking like homeworld or some fucking bullshit will get destroyed, and then you know what I mean. So it just complicates the fucking story even more. That would be fucking crazy if we saw some shit like that, and that's very fucking long. That's like long term. You know what I mean? If we do go this route of just of this invading kind of alien species, so very interesting. Very interesting. If we do see that, that would be so fucking cool. But I think there's a lot of potential for us to just be able to see something that is more or less almost it's weird. So it's almost Star Trek, almost, and it's in a sense of like us discovering new regions. You know what I mean? that we haven't seen before, you know. So there's kind of like that wanderlust atmosphere there, you know. Um, and so that's why I feel like as great as Ahsoka's storyline with what she's going through right now with Anakin and who Anakin might even be, you know what I mean? Because that's still a discussion right there. But I feel like as great as that is a thing with what we will see in episode 5, we can't forget about a lot of these other things that's going on right now because you know, Ahsoka's story is magnificent, but that is definitely just still just one aspect of like this entire tale going on. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to see what Thrawn's motivations and what type of ambitions he's gonna have. I'm gonna see what we're gonna, you know, Ezra. You know, we got a flash of him earlier as a hologram. You know what I mean? A recording, but you know, I want to definitely see what type of character he's definitely grown into now. You know, where is his mindset now versus the last time we saw him? You know, and what's the whole situation with him and Thrawn? Because remember, they were together when the Purgle, you know, sent them into the unknown regions. And so, what type of situations have they been through that, you know, has gotten them now to where they are? Um, you know, and how has Ezra survived? How has Thrawn survived? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of questions that I think, you know, we as fans have, and I think Dave Filoni is definitely gonna, you know, just kind of drop on us, and things are gonna unfold, and you know, I think things are gonna get very trippy, but um, you know, episode 5, there's just so much, there's just so much riding on it. You know what I mean? At the same, it's like there's so much riding on it, but at the same time, it's like there's really no pressure. You know, I don't feel worried. You know, I am excited because I know that Dave Filoni is going to deliver. And so, you know, whereas in the past with a lot of shows that kind of generate this type of hype, there's always that, you know, fear of like, oh man, I don't know if it's gonna fucking hold up. You know what I mean? But I think uh I think Dave Filoni has definitely delivered and built the hype up to this point for a reason. I don't think there's, you know, I don't think this is a facade for false promises. I think this is actually going to go somewhere. And so I'm very excited to see what's going to happen and where things are going to go. So, um, yeah, man, I can't wait. Um, but, you know, so Thrawn, it's going to be very interesting to see where he's going to be. Same thing with Ezra. Sabine, remember, she's been captured by Balin and the others, and so, and not to mention, what's his name, Marat. Honestly, when he disappeared and like when Anakin popped up on screen, I didn't give a fuck about anything else going on in the show that I had problems with. You know what I mean? Like the whole question of like who Marat is or some shit like that. Like everyone was like, it's Star Killer. Like when Anakin appeared, I didn't give a fuck about that shit anymore. But honestly, looking back on the episode, him turning into smoke like that, it's a very interesting thing because it's like, what is it? That's Night Sister magic, right? And so um, I remember someone said that. What if that's gonna be the same magic that we see uh, Thrawn's army created with? You know what I mean? And so that's a very interesting theory right there, where that because then that kind of generates this whole question of like, um, will Thrawn have kind of like this undead army, kind of almost like zombie type of energy, just so that he can kind of like maybe possibly build this army to fight this evil force out there without actually having to use actual tangible people. You know what I mean? Is that something that he's potentially going to try to do? That would be very interesting. Damn, that'd be crazy actually if he did that. There's just like a million fucking undead, not even undead, but it's just like smoke fucking people, you know what I mean? So that would be fucking crazy. And then there's just like this crazy ass fucking war where the Vong come in, and then fucking Thrawn just has like, all of these fucking ships with all these fucking smoke soldiers, and just like this fucking crazy ass fucking Star War basically. But there's no real immediate threat on the good guy's side because of the fucking Night Sister magic with the fucking smoke soldier. So it's like no real fucking people honestly would have to fight. That would be a fucking genius ass tactic for Thrawn to use. Now, would he actually do that? Probably not. I mean, or in terms of like, are we going to see that in the show? We're probably not going to see that. That would be very, very fucking cool to see, though. But that would take a lot of fucking magic, I imagine. So I don't know if that's even a fucking possibility. So, I don't know. It'd be really cool, though. It'd be really cool. Um, man, I just want to know what's going on with Anakin. You know. So now here's the question, right? So like, a lot of people really are riding on the idea that he is the son. And my whole thing is, look, if it's the son, so like here's the thing: if it's the son, first of all, then that means that it's not even Anakin to begin with. So if it is the son, then I'm looking at that as like the smoke monster off of Lost. You know what I mean? You remember him where he's just like, because he eventually turned into like Locke, right? And then he turned into fucking what was his name? He turned into Locke. He turned into somebody else. I'm thinking of Lost. If you've seen Lost, you know what I'm talking about. But fuck, he turned into fucking Saeed, right? Wasn't he? Was he Saeed? Was he? Fuck. Can't remember. It's been so fucking long since I've seen that show. But that's basically what I'm seeing the son as. You know what I mean? I'm seeing him as basically the smoke monster off of Lost, where he's just manipulative. You know what I mean? Everything he says is all just a fucking gambit, just to fucking further his own motivations of like fucking over the daughter or the father. But that's the thing. If the father's still in the equation, then I would imagine that Anakin is the father, or he has taken over the role of the father. Because here's the thing: what if the father, right? So the way the father was presented to us, the audience, and to Anakin and everyone on Mortis and shit, the whole Mortis arc, right? What if the father, the son, and the daughter, the way we see and know them, what if that was just like how whoever those people was, who like what if those people were basically the bodies of the force when it was presented to them, you know what I mean? So like, maybe a billion years ago, there was a bunch of people that, landed on a planet on Mortis, and there were three entities that were, for the sake of this conversation, let's say they were like the witches, right? Like in, what is that? Hang on, sorry. Something's wrong. There we go. Boom. All right. But let's say for sake of conversation, they were like the witches, right? Off of God of War. You know what I mean? Like the three witches, the sisters, you know. Um, and so maybe um, these people stumbled across these fucking entities, and that one of them was a son, one of them was a father, and one of them was a daughter. You know what I mean? And so they eventually accepted the roles, right? They took over the roles that the witches were currently kind of like, offering them. And so, a million years later, that's when Anakin, Ahsoka, you know what I mean, Obi-Wan and all them, that's when they land on the fucking planet. And then boom, we know those entities as the father, we know those entities as the son, we know them as the daughter. But really, just years and years and years ago, they had different names, you know what I mean? Because really, this is just the force personified. And so, I don't know, that would be very interesting to see. So then basically, what I'm trying to imply here is that what if Ahsoka is now the new entity of the daughter? You know what I mean? So that even so, we all know the daughter entity. Now it's just Ahsoka, right? So then, in that case, Anakin is now the son, or Anakin is the father. You know what I mean? I feel like he would be the father. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say that. All right. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. Everyone's trying to say it's the son. I think it is the father, dog. I think it's the father. Anakin died balanced, bro. So I think that is the father, bro. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna down that hill. All right, until that episode comes out, and then we're gonna see. But I definitely think. I'm sorry. I think it's the father. So. But if it is the son, that would be crazy. But I think it's the father. So I think it's either the father or Anakin has taken over the role as the father. So um, Or it could be the son. It could be the son manipulating Ahsoka because the son senses the daughter's spirit in Ahsoka, so it could just be fucking with her. But I don't know. I think it's the father, because then it would make even more sense for Anakin to kind of be like this guiding type of spirit, or type of kind of like, figure for Ahsoka. You know what I mean? Where, just like in his mortal life, for Ahsoka, he was her master. So now, you know, in this realm, wherever they are years later after he's died, and become the true, chosen one. He's his true enlightened self now. He's now this guiding kind of light and spirit for her. So he's still playing that role of master, kind of, you know what I mean? And it would just make so much sense if that's the case, that he's the father. You know what I mean? So he's like, like, I feel like this next episode possibly could feel like Willy Wonka. You know what I mean? Where Anakin is like Wonka, taking Ahsoka on a ride, and it's just like, trying to fucking basically explain the ins and outs of the Force. That would be really fucking amazing too. If we can explain what the Force is in this next fucking shit. I had a theory. Here's a fucking crazy theory. What if, like, so the Vong, right? I don't know if I talked about this in the last video, but I'm gonna say it again anyways. Um, what if, like, all right, so midichlorians, right? So what if midichlorians are like a byproduct of like like the Vong, right? So, like, or midichlorians are from another universe, where, like, in this other universe, let's say the Vong, they have like some kind of something existing there, right? Where this thing, whatever it is, spews out just like midichlorians, because maybe to this thing, midichlorians is like a fuel source or some shit, right? And so, like, this thing kind of just like maybe like steam or smoke or some shit spews out in the air, or something happens to where, like, midichlorians get spewed out, right? Because it's like, kind of like a byproduct of, like, whatever the fuck this machine does. And then through, the cosmic fucking tether, you know what I mean? These midichlorians travel all the way down and trickle down to our universe, where over time, over years, they have just eventually created everything that we all know as the Force, and everything that's being binded together. And it all is trickling from this other universe ran by the Vong. And just over eons and eons and eons, it's just created our fucking world, our Star Wars galaxy. That would be fucking insane if they did that shit. That's crazy. That's fucking insane. I don't know if we'll see that. That's very fucking deep cut. I don't know. That would be a dope ass idea. The idea that, like, midichlorians or the Force in general is somehow, some way connected to, like, another galaxy or another fucking just alien species out there, that is just like the actual Force is a byproduct of a machine or some shit that they use, a system that they use, where it just spews out midichlorians. It spews out midichlorians and trickles down to our universe, and boom, it creates the Force, creates everything that we all know it to be. So then, the reason why I keep, like, hammering that idea home is because then you can have a situation where, like, Jedi or some shit figure out, like, people that are Force sensitive, like, figure this out and try to go to wherever this fucking place is, where this machine or some shit exists, and then they have some sort of connection with it. But then maybe people that's running this machine can sense, or just like they can, like, scan and see that they're, like, drenched in the chlorians or some shit like that, that they're Force sensitive. And so somehow, some way, they can control them and just completely fucking manipulate everything that a Jedi is, or people that are Force sensitive. Like, that would be fucking crazy. You know what I mean? I don't know. That would be insane. I don't think that's all gonna happen in the next episode, but, like, over time, you know what I mean? If we saw some shit like that happen, just playing around with the ideas of, like, what midichlorians are, what the Force is, can it be manipulated in ways that we would just never even think of? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's cool. Yeah, it's kind of like the idea of, like, what if two black holes came next to each other, and then you tried to travel in between the black holes? Like, the amount of gravity that you would experience would be so heavy that you could theoretically be slingshotted and spit back in time, so that you would basically see yourself going into the black hole and theoretically interact with yourself, which would then make you question, in the beginning of the journey, would you interact with yourself before you even did what you're going to do? But if you didn't interact with yourself, if you don't remember interacting with yourself before you go on the journey, then if you interact with yourself after the journey for you in that current present moment, but you're in the past and you interact with yourself, are you in another universe or are you in the same universe that you came from? But there's no way you would be because you don't remember interacting with yourself when you left for your journey. So the only way that that would work is if you interacted with yourself when you left for your journey, which would confirm the journey was a success and that it happened. But that would be fucking trippy. I don't know. I'm sorry. That's a fucking trippy ass thought. Sorry. The idea of like I don't know where that just came from. Sorry. Traveling through two black holes and being spit out in the past. That's crazy. All right. But yeah. Um, but yeah, I'm about to end the stream. I just wanted to do a quick one this time. This isn't gonna be a super long one. Last stream was pretty fucking long, so that was pretty cool. We did talk about a lot of cool trippy shit. Um, but I think this stream we definitely did a good job and just talking about a lot of crazy trippy shit. So it's pretty cool. Chill vibes. Cannot wait for Ahsoka episode 5 tomorrow. It's crazy that some people are gonna be able to watch it in theaters. If I could fucking score that shit, I would. That would be so fucking amazing. So that'd be cool. But if you're watching this after I uploaded, thanks for watching. I definitely will probably talk about Ahsoka after the episode tomorrow. I might potentially be watching the episode over a friend's house too. So if I do make a video, I might be over there and might be with other people, and we, just might be trippy and shit like that. It'd be pretty cool. So yeah, I'm excited for this episode. Cannot fucking wait. And yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a pretty cool experience. I just can't wait to see what they do with Anakin, man. I'm excited to see Anakin and Ahsoka on screen together again in live action form. You know what I mean? That's going to be fucking crazy. So, yeah, but thanks for watching. Catch you guys on the next one. And yeah, Ahsoka episode 5, man. Can't fucking wait. Peace out.